Hi, and welcome to this week's installment of Ask Emily. Our first question comes from Jill, who said, Emily, did you design your own engagement ring? If so, how were you certain it would be something you still like years down the road? What advice do you have for someone who is designing her own, and what are your thoughts on picking a ring together versus being surprised? Jeffrey completely surprised me with my engagement ring, and I'm so glad that's the way that we did it. It felt so romantic to be really surprised, but he also has really good taste, so I kind of lucked out in that arena. I have an Asher cut diamond with pave bands, and I think it's a really classic cut, which I love, and I would suggest going that route if you are going to be involved in the picking process. I wear mostly yellow gold, but decided that I wanted white gold. I guess it was just something that he had picked up on perhaps while watching that episode of Sex and the City when Carrie gets that like yellow gold monstrosity with the pear-shaped diamond. So I think as long as you do something that's classic and timeless, you'll be totally good. Katie asked, do you ever feel awkward posing and being photographed out in public for your style posts? Do people stare? What's your strategy for going out on the streets and getting great photos where you look natural and relaxed? I always freeze up in front of the camera, especially if other people are around. So I'd love to know any tricks you've picked up over the years. When I first started being photographed for my blog, I was a mess. I was just like this uncomfortable thing, like posing in these like really contorted positions. And I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. And when you're comfortable, those are when you kind of get those poses that look really natural and you're at ease with yourself out on the streets. But yeah, people will stare sometimes. You just have to pretend like you know what you're doing out there, and then they won't feel uncomfortable watching you. The other thing I would suggest is to look at some street style photography blogs. The Sartorialist is my favorite, and I think you can get a vibe for people who aren't used to being photographed every day, and you see real people on the streets and just kind of get a feel for how they look and try to emulate that as best as you can. Sarah asked, you seem to have a lot of connections. My job requires networking, and I'm not very good at it. Do you have any advice for making connections? That's very sweet of you because I feel like I'm constantly figuring it out as I go. But I think over the years, I've gotten a lot better at understanding the ways to network. I think the most important thing is to figure out those people that are good to have kind of in your social circle, the people that you should be following up with regularly. It's important to not only make those connections, but then to follow up. So an email here and there, wishing them happy holidays, grabbing coffee, taking them out. I think it's really important to maintain those connections. And then thirdly, I think it's really nice to know that you can reach out to people and ask for help. I get a lot of people reaching out to me with questions, and I'm always so happy to help them out. And so you have to almost put yourself in that mind frame when you're worried about asking something or getting somebody's opinion, that people are really happy to help. Thanks for tuning in to this week's installment of Ask Emily, and please keep on sending me your questions through the comment section on my blog or through social media with the hashtag AskEmily.